Hello, I'm Henry. I like history, and tonight we're talking about cake, the kind people didn't have, and a sentence that followed a woman all the way to her death, even though she never said it. In late 18th century France, bread was not just food, it was survival. For most working families, bread made up the majority of daily calories. A bad harvest didn't mean inconvenience, it meant hunger. When flour prices rose, there was nothing to replace it. No alternative, no safety net. By the 1780s, France was struggling. Poor weather damaged grain crops. Speculation drove prices higher. Bakers ran out of flour. Lines formed before sunrise, and many ended with empty hands. A single loaf of bread could decide whether a family ate that day. Far from those lines stood Versailles. Inside its walls, life followed a different rhythm, one of ceremony, etiquette, and appearances. It was here that Marie Antoinette lived as queen. She arrived in France as a teenager, sent from Austria as part of a political alliance. She was young, foreign, and unprepared for the expectations placed upon her. Court life demanded constant display, dresses, banquets, celebrations, everything visible, everything scrutinized. As bread grew scarce, her image hardened in the public imagination. Pamphlets portrayed her as careless and extravagant. Illustrations exaggerated her feasts and fashions. The more desperate the streets became, the more distant she appeared, whether that distance was real or not. Then came the sentence, let them eat cake. Or more precisely, qu'ils mangent de la brioche. But the story does not begin with Marie Antoinette. Decades earlier, in the 1760s, philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote his memoirs, later published as Confessions. In one passage, he recalled hearing of a great princess who, when told that peasants had no bread, supposedly replied that they could eat brioche instead. Rousseau did not name her. He did not place her at Versailles. And at the time he wrote those words, Marie Antoinette was still a child, living in Austria, far removed from French politics. The line rested quietly on the page, waiting. By the late 1780s, France was boiling. Hunger sharpened anger, trust collapsed, and revolution thrives on stories that are easy to remember. The sentence was short, cruel, perfect. It captured the perceived disconnect between starving citizens and glittering royalty. Whether it was true no longer mattered. It felt true, and that was enough. The phrase spread through pamphlets and rumors. It attached itself to Marie Antoinette's name and refused to let go. There is no evidence she ever said it, but by then, evidence no longer mattered. When Marie Antoinette was executed in 1793, the sentence survived her. By that time, France was no longer ruled by a king. Revolutionary authorities had dismantled the monarchy piece by piece. Her husband, King Louis XVI, had already been executed months earlier. Marie Antoinette was brought before the Revolutionary Tribunal and charged with crimes against the state, conspiring with foreign powers, betraying the nation, draining its wealth. Some accusations were exaggerated, others were invented outright, but the verdict had been decided long before the trial began. She represented the old world, and the old world had to end. On October 16, 1793, Marie Antoinette was taken from her prison cell and placed in a simple cart. There was no carriage, no ceremony. She was driven through the streets of Paris as crowds gathered, some jeering, some silent, many simply watching history finish what it had started. At the Place de la Révolution, she was executed by guillotine. It was meant to be swift, public, final. The Queen was gone. But the sentence remained. Let them eat cake outlived her trial, her death, and the revolution itself. becoming permanent shorthand for indifference, excess, and power that no longer listens. Not because she said it, but because history found it useful. History doesn't always remember what was said. Sometimes it remembers what fit. A sentence, a symbol, and a hunger that needed someone to blame. Thank you for staying with me tonight, and for letting this story be told. I'm Henry. I'll see you next time.